How long did you stay down there at the kennels?
Well, I can't, I don't know. But I will say this, before I went, I was unsure whether I was allowed to go because I knew it was a crime scene. And so I reached out to a friend of mine in law enforcement and said, listen, I don't know who's handling the crime scene. I don't know whatever. He said, well, I'll find out and make sure that it's clear for you to go. And he said, don't go until I tell you. And he called me back a few minutes later and said he had spoken to, I believe it was Captain Ryan Neal, and had given the okay that everything was released and it was okay to go there.
And was it cleaned up?
No, Jim, it was not cleaned up.
Okay. Were there skull fragments?
Yeah, so, excuse me, this is going to be really difficult. So I could easily see where Maggie had been. I saw the night before where the sheets were, and somebody had told me that who was who, and so I could see where Maggie had been, and it was grass, and they had covered it up with dirt, so there really was nothing to see where Maggie was. I walked over to the feed room, and y'all have heard the descriptions. Y'all saw it. I've never seen pictures, and I've told them before coming to this court that I was not going to see pictures. But y'all can imagine what I experienced. It had not been cleaned up. I saw blood. I saw brains. I saw pieces of skull. And when I say brains, it could just be tissue. I don't know what I was seeing. It was terrible. And for some reason, I thought it was something that I needed to do for Paul to clean it up. Felt like it was the right thing to do. I felt like I owed him, and I started cleaning. And I can promise you, no mother or father or aunt or uncle should ever have to see and do what I did that day.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm not blaming anybody, but it's just, I was just overwhelmed. I did everything I could, and I would have moments where I would stop crying for a moment, and just in disbelief. At one point, I called my brother Randy, and told him what I was doing, trying to describe what I was doing, and he immediately told me to stop doing it. It was not good for me. It was not healthy for me to be there.
Wow.
And I couldn't stop. I had to do it for Paul. That's just what I had to do. And I don't know, it's probably 15, 20 minutes later. Mark Ball shows up. Y'all heard Mark Ball testify. And he came and hugged me and told me it was okay to leave. Okay to leave what was left of Paul, that they would clean it up. It's the hardest thing I've ever been through in my life.
Yes, sir. What'd you do next?
Mark basically got me. I'm sure I was just a basket case, but he got me back to the house and got me back around family, and just got back to the support of others that were there, and there were a lot of people at the house at that point.
Do you remember when you got back to the house, at some point in time, people raising questions or bringing up the fact that Maggie's phone had not been located?
Yeah, so that was, particularly the lawyers, they were all, being lawyers, they were, questioning things amongst themselves and, how could this happen, trying to figure things out. But it was brought to my attention that Maggie's phone was not there and that law enforcement had not found it. And I can't say that, in fact, I can probably say that I didn't think of it because I'm not big phone user or big app user or whatnot, but somebody brought to my attention and says, listen, if Buster or Alec, if they have an app on their phone, in fact, I can probably say that I didn't think of it because I'm not a big phone user or big app user or
It was a glitch in the
whatnot, but
matrix.
somebody brought to my attention and says, listen, if Buster or Alec, if they have an app on their phone, like Find My Phone or Find My Friends or an app like that, they said you very likely can find out where the phone is if the battery's not dead. And so I went to Buster and sure enough, I said, Buster, do you have this one of these apps like they're talking about? And he said, yeah, sure I do. I said, well, open it up. He opened it up and he handed me the phone and I see Maggie's name and I press it where, to activate it, and it pings Maggie's phone just out front of the property. I was like, I hate to say it, but I said, holy shit, there it is. And I said, Buster, I'm taking your phone. I'm going to go back down to the shed and show it to law enforcement.
And who did you
That
approach
is so
first
bad.
about the phone?
Well, I don't know who it was. Presumably, it was
They can't
sled
find a
agents.
body,
'Cause
they
keep
can't
in
find
mind,
a phone, they
I didn't
can't
know any of
take
these
fingerprints,
guys
they
with
can't
sled.
protect
I
the
mean,
crime scene.
there were a couple of faces
It's so
that I'd
bad.
seen before, but I don't know these guys. I've come to know them, but I don't know them or didn't know them then. So I went up to a sled agent or two sled agents and said, presumably sled agents, and said, hey, I've got Buster's phone here, and it's got an app on it that can find the phone, and it's showing Maggie's phone's right out here. Let's let's go get it.
They're like, we'll do it tomorrow.
And he said, no need. We have technology coming later today that
Oh
we
my
should be able
God,
to
I
find
was
it."
joking.
And it blew me away.
I was joking.
I'm sitting here showing them where Maggie's phone is, but they won't take the time to walk with me or take this phone itself. I mean,
Oh
I'd give
my
them the phone
God, I
to go
was
find it.
kidding.
So I walk over, I knew Duffy Stone, he was the solicitor, I knew one of his investigators. I walked over to them, said the exact same thing, and they immediately said, absolutely, let's go find this thing before the battery goes dead.
Yeah?
And